Hey everyone, welcome to Sorting Myself Out. My name is Ryan Holsapple. Today I'm here with my buddy Matt. Welcome. Thanks for being here. And what we're going to do is a demonstration of a self-soul spirit model created by Dr. Roger Strachan, who I've been trained in for several hundred hours and been working with these guys over the past year or so in organizing their subpersonalities, figuring out who they are, living soul-directed lives. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this model, we have many videos on this channel explaining how it works and exactly what it is. So today what we're going to do is Dr. Roger Strachan's methodology, where he created this self-soul spirit approach. Basically what this is I have my subpersonalities. My soul is the mediating deepest part of who I am. And he has his, which we've identified through a series of exercises. So we're going to dive in to show you how this works and how you can start experimenting with this on your own so that you can enhance your life and have more self-awareness. So first I'm going to start by we're going to dive in here. I'm going to tell you which parts of me I'm bringing in. I'm going to bring my guide, who is a good listener and is proactive and wants to help you live the best life you can. I'm going to bring my lover of life. Where is he? There he is. I'm going to bring my seeker of wisdom, spiritual seeker, my soul, which is that sense of connection and presence inside of me, that silence, that love, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. It's bigger than any of the other parts. And I'm going to bring my teacher, because there might be some teaching moments where I have to pause and explain to people what's happening. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
And the intention from these parts of me is, as I said, to support you, but to really dig into some of your parts and to help alleviate and dive into some of these dynamics. How's that sound?
Great.
Right on. So don't tell me who you want to be here, but just tell me who is here today. Who's here for you right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, my goal here is to work on living a soul-driven life. So definitely my soul is here, and kind of the different parts of my soul that just showed up with me today as I walked in to the room. Definitely talkative connector. This is how I connect with people and check in and just give that feeling of, hey, I care about you, what's going on in your life. Definitely brought my spiritual seeker. That comes with me a lot of places, almost everywhere I go. Just spiritual seeking and always looking for something new and better has been a huge part.
So I'm going to pause you right now.
Yeah.
What I want you to do is speak from the parts.
Okay.
So let's start again with the spiritual seeker. So I am the spiritual seeker.
Great.
And?
I am the spiritual seeker and I seek to grow.
Awesome. And you bring that everywhere.
Yeah.
And I can imagine just even driving down the road, you'd be seeking, you'd be having these deep questions.
Right.
Is that right?
And it doesn't happen all the time, but it's definitely one of my stronger parts.
Who just said that? What part of you just said, I don't do it all the time?
Yeah, that would be my perfectionist.
So be the perfectionist and say, I'm not really doing that good at spiritual seeking.
So I am the perfectionist, and you're not always the best at spiritual seeking. When you're driving down the road and someone cuts you off, spiritual seeker gets lost a little bit.
Talk to the spiritual seeker as if he's here.
So
here, I'll get up and put the spiritual seeker there, and then you be the perfectionist.
Yeah. So I am the perfectionist, and I have noticed that, the spiritual seeker has been a little off when we're driving and someone cuts us off, and maybe you don't react the best way that you should. So we'd like to see some growth in that spiritual seeker, and this is coming from the perfectionist.
So you don't think he's doing good enough job?
No.
All right, say that. I don't think you're doing a good job.
I don't think you're doing a good enough job, spiritual seeker.
Okay, got it. Now put the perfectionist down and respond from the spiritual seeker?
Wow. We really appreciate the feedback from the perfectionist. We try our best to...
I speak as an individual.
Great.
For the seeker.
I try my best to spiritually seek no matter where I am and no matter what situation I'm put in, but sometimes extenuous or exterior circumstances prevent that from happening. So back off, perfectionist.
Okay, pause. So a couple things, I saw you shift there.
Yeah.
First, there's a lot of giggling that's been going on. So I'm
Right.
noticing there's something laughing, there's
Yeah.
a lot of energy. So can you point to the giggler? Who's the laugher?
I would say that's probably the 11-year-old.
Okay, 11-year-old. Tell me what you think is so funny right now. Be the 11-year-old.
Yeah, I think as the 11-year-old, we just think this is funny because it's such a small little impact in such a small situation. And we just think it's funny that you guys get caught up in this.
Oh, it's like, you're kind of laughing
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you guys are ridiculous.
It's like
this is ridiculous. How you're making such a big deal out of nothing.
Right. Right. And you
my Joker loves that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And as the 11-year-old, we just think life's too short to get pissed off over someone cutting you off or doing something
Great.
stupid.
I love that. Okay, so you're laughing at everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you willing to let go for a minute and let me talk to these other parts, 11-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, then I want you to notice what you said. Back off, perfectionist. Is that the spiritual seeker saying that, or is that another part?
That's probably not the spiritual seeker. That's probably the adventurer.
Okay,
Just
so
saying.
so be the adventurer and
Yeah.
and own your statement.
Yeah, so as the adventurer, I am the adventurer, and I just want you to back off and not be so hard on us, perfectionist.
Great, say more.
I think that we could make a lot of progress in spiritual seeking and living a worry-free life and not getting so hung up on little things. I just think life's too short to let all those little things bug you. We can go on adventures and live life and be free and happy and not let little things bug us.
Okay, great. Now get back over there, and I want you to respond again.
Yeah, so that sounds all great, but as the perfectionist, I just can't allow that to happen because everything's got to be regimented, everything's got to be an exact way, and if it's not, it throws us off. If someone cuts us off, that's not how it's supposed to be, so that throws us off. So I get your point, but is that realistic?
So you're concerned that it's not realistic to hold things so loosely. You want to hold things tightly, and you want to be in control.
Right.
So I want you to say that. I want to be in control.
Yeah, so I, the perfectionist, just wants to be in control because when we get scared, that's how we fix things. We control
Who
things.
gets scared?
All of us, all of the parts.
Do you speak for all of the parts, perfectionist?
It tries to. I try to.
You try to?
Yeah. Because
I'm going to
I want
ask
to
you
control.
to only speak for yourself. Who gets scared inside?
The worrier.
Okay. So now I want you to be the worrier. I'm going to sit by you here.
Great.
So be the worrier. And what we just did was called empty chair technique. You go back and forth between the chairs and you speak from the different parts. Okay, so I want you to be the worrier.
Great.
And tell me what you're scared about. The perfection. And what I heard was that the perfectionist is trying to manage your worrying.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's
So what are you
pretty
worrying
accurate.
about?
So as the worrier, I worry about life, the future, and what's going to be and what's going to happen, and am I going to be able to do all these things that society says that I'm supposed to do, and what I'm working on as the worrier is realizing that if I could live with no past and no future, life would be pretty good.
So you're hearing the other parts talking. You're hearing your soul talking.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm getting is that they're saying, I don't want to live this way.
Right.
I don't want to be worried all the time. And you're hearing that as the worrier.
Big time.
So you're saying you're working on letting go a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. How's that going for you?
It's going good, but it's tough. So I would say some days are good and some days are not so good. Some days I do great about it, and I'll go maybe a week or two without having any worries, and just being really present and mindful and just like, hey, I really am just grateful for what I have and where I'm at. And then there's other days where it's like all I can think of is, what's next? How am I going to do this? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to do that? So it's a constant battle internally, which this model has really been the only place that I have found actual growth and change, because that's been a strong part of me that's been with me forever. Just recognizing it and pointing to it, I think, has helped too. Just like, what are my parts?
What parts of you just started talking? You shifted out of the worrier and you went into more thinking about your total self.
I would say that was probably my spiritual seeker.
So be the seeker again.
Yeah.
Take the seeker.
Okay.
Sounds like you're really helping the whole system work hard to drive you into improvement. Is that right?
Yeah, as a spiritual seeker, I think our goal that we've created is just to be the best we can be every day and be the best self and help all the other parts achieve that.
Yes. Yeah. And how do you feel about the worrier hiring the perfectionist to constantly beat up on you?
Yeah, that's
What's that like?
I guess I, as a spiritual seeker, have never thought of it that way, but that's exactly what's happening, and that's a very powerful combination, because they're both very powerful parts that can overtake my whole body,
Yes. So here's the exercise. The first time you tried to celebrate yourself, you said, the perfectionist came in and said, yeah, but I don't always do spiritual seeking. So this time I just want, with the permission of your soul, I just want you to own, I am the spiritual seeker and I love seeking, period.
Great. I am the spiritual seeker and I love seeking.
How does that feel to?
It's powerful.
Yeah?
And it's a lot.
Do you want to say it a few more times?
Yeah, I am the spiritual seeker and I will keep seeking. Awesome. I am the spiritual seeker and I will keep seeking. And I think
here, and I'll play the perfectionist. But you're not doing it enough. You're not doing good enough. Is the 11-year-old like that?
Yeah.
You're not seeking well enough. So how are you going to respond to that?
Right.
It's not good enough.
We appreciate I appreciate your opinion.
Do you really appreciate that, seeker?
Not really. No.
Don't give me that line of shit.
No.
I don't appreciate.
No, we don't appreciate that.
How about this? I'm the spiritual seeker, and I love seeking, and I don't give a fuck what you think about it.
Yeah.
Whatever feels right to you. Give your own statement. So I'm gonna do.
Great.
But seeker, I'm the perfectionist. You're not seeking well enough.
You know what? I am the spiritual seeker, and we are going to keep seeking, and I don't give a fuck what you think.
Great. Does that feel good from the seeker?
Yeah. These two have been completely taken out of the picture, is what it feels like.
Seeker, can you hold that line for yourself?
Yeah. And how do I do that?
You just did it.
Great.
How did you just do it? You tell me.
I put intention around it and put it out there.
And soul.
And it was coming from my soul.
Yeah, your soul and your seeker spoke together.
Right.
I could feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Because that's the worrier is very powerful. And I think detaching them, that's a good exercise I can use when I'm using my mandala throughout the day too, is when I'm feeling that, put them all together and find a way to take them away and make a strong statement and repeat it until I feel good about it.
Yes. The number one lesson that Strachan has taught me is you never have to let any part of you or any other person have power over you. You always have choice. How you respond to what's going on inside.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty
My
awesome.
seeker loves how your seeker just stepped in and took his power back.
Right. Right.
So I want to talk to your soul from my soul.
Okay.
Are you ready to take responsibility for the way that your parts are speaking?
Yes, I as the soul am ready to take responsibility for my parts.
Awesome. So what do you want to say to the perfectionist and the worrier right now? Because I keep hearing they've got so much power, they're so big, they're so powerful, but is anything really powerful as you?
No.
Okay, so what do you need to say to the worrier and perfectionist?
As the soul, I really need your help to live a soul-directed life, and don't appreciate you taking over other parts of me.
Let's try that again.
Okay.
As a soul, something like this. As a soul, I'm really loving my intentional soul-directed life. And I need you to get with the program, or else I'm just going to have to drag you along with me. Because I'm moving. I'm going.
Right.
See, that they don't take over other parts of you. They come in unannounced and be themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're still operating under the model that they're more powerful than the other parts.
Right.
You understand that?
Yeah, yeah.
You're giving them a belief system that says, you're the king. You're the ruler of this. You get to decide how I feel. Do you understand the precedent that you set? What Strachan calls you're writing the script.
Yeah. Never.
So I'll give you an example. My black hole gets depressed.
Right.
He used to come in unannounced all the time.
Right.
But now the soul nails him when he comes in.
Yeah.
You don't get to just sneak through the back door and act as if you're the new voice of the system. Who is speaking? Always be aware of who is speaking.
Right.
What does that bring up for you?
It brings up a lot of things that I haven't thought of before.
Yeah?
And I think, you hit it right on the head when you talk about me giving these parts power that I don't need to. And I'm basically manifesting whatever I want, and right now I'm giving the perfectionist and the worrier a lot of power. And I think as a soul, I really am on board with living the soul-directed life, and I need these two parts, the perfectionist and the worrier, to get on board, or I'm going to just have to drag them along.
Ask them. Say that to them.
So as a soul, I really need you, the worrier, and you, the perfectionist, to get on board with what we're doing and get in line with all the other parts and realize that you're not the voice of reason and the soul is, and I need your help. And you do not have permission to sneak in unannounced because we will
Great.
catch you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want you to respond.
Great.
You can be both of them at once or one of them at a time. It's up to you.
The worrier, I think
As
that
the-
all, yeah,
as the worrier.
as the worrier, that sounds really good. We probably will have a few objections along the way, but I think we're starting to see it in a better light now that we don't need to take over. And that's coming from the worrier.
Good.
And then the perfectionist, as the perfectionist, I can get on board with that because I see when we live a soul-directed life, great things happen, and I don't need to be as big of a part of that. I just do my job.
The guide in me wants to talk to you, perfectionist and warrior. Would you be willing to take another job?
Yeah.
Got it. What would you like to do for the soul? Do you have any ideas, or do you want the soul to give you something to do? Because you do realize that what happens when you come in and slam the seeker is you're not actually helping the seeker or the soul. You're sucking energy away so that there's more negativity. So what would you do that would be helpful? Do you want to ask for a job, or do you want to?
Yeah, I think, and I think this is coming from the soul, kind of asking jobs from the soul. I think scheduling and planning would be really good for these two.
The soul just said that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you two willing to do that?
Yeah, I think we could do that. I think that would fit into both of us.
Okay.
What do you think, perfectionist? Yes.
I love your 11-year-old. It's hilarious. Worrier, are you willing to do scheduling? I'm trying to see you in that role. Is that something that you fit into? How do you fit in as a scheduler?
So I think as the worrier, I worry about the future. It's not so much the past, but it's the future that I worry about. And I feel like if the soul can give me some direction and some structure and give me something to work towards or worry towards, then I think that would be a good role for the worrier. Maybe,
Perfect.
I know we haven't talked about it yet, but like that could be a great start for a sacred flip. And like could be a good transition and maybe repurposing this part, and maybe as I continue to work on this program, it's not the worrier anymore. It's the planner, that's the whatever, the creator.
Yes. And just so everyone knows, the sacred flip is when you take a part of you and you give it a new purpose. The old job wasn't working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other thing about the sacred flip is honoring where it came from, honoring what its purpose was. Mm-hmm. What function did it serve? So be the soul.
Okay.
First, thank the hell out of these parts for being willing to come along.
Yeah, as the soul, we just want to thank you for jumping on board and not providing a lot of resistance.
Great. Then I want you to tell me what the warrior has done for you, and tell him and thank him for it. Thank you for it's no longer needed, but you really did, for a while you were protecting me, or whatever it would be. So talk to me.
Yeah, as the soul, I just wanted to thank you, worrier. We don't really need the same level of worry that you've brought, but you have been very positive at times and done a lot of great things. We've built a great life for my wife and my future family, and you've helped keep me on track and continue to achieve, sometimes out of fear, but my point is you're appreciated, but we don't need you in that same way anymore.
Great. My soul and my guide want to say something. You tell me if I'm wrong, but there was a time in your life where you had to worry a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't trust yourself.
Mm-mm.
And you're worried, the worrier is worried that you still can't.
Yeah.
So I want you to say, I actually trust myself now. I'm not the same person that I was when things were whatever the way they were, when I had something real to worry about. I'm actually doing pretty good.
Right.
I've really grown into myself.
Yeah.
So say something like that. And are there any other parts of you that want to join in with the soul?
Yeah. I'm going to bring the addict in with my soul.
Okay, great.
So, as the soul, I am here with the addict, and we realize you had a lot to worry about when you were in active addiction. And I think your worry has preserved us and helped us, but we trust ourselves now. We don't have anything to worry about. Back then, 3 or 4 years ago, we had something serious to worry about. And I think that's no longer needed today. So I just wanted to give you that confirmation that there isn't anything to worry about. You've already made it.
Beautiful. That's so nice. How's that feel to say
Awesome.
that? Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My addict's here.
Yeah.
I really love that. I've done the same thing because the soul really trusts me now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a part of the soul now. I'm part of the system.
Right.
And I'm a part of the greater whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think just as the addict, when I talk to the worrier as the addict, I think I have done the sacred flip with the addict, and it is a productive part of my mandala and a very positive part of my mandala. And so just welcoming the worrier to look at what the soul has done with the addict when they work together, and just asking the worrier and the perfectionist to work with the soul just like the addict worked with the soul to become the great part that it is today.
Addicts, tell us what you do now. What are you up to? What new jobs have you been doing?
Yeah, so my addict is very intense, very attentive, whether it's a phone call, replying right away, or an email. My addict sometimes gets tunnel vision, which isn't good for some situations, but...
Who said that?
The spiritual seeker.
Okay, so be the seeker real quick. So first, let me get this straight. First, the perfectionist tries to speak for you, and then you do the same thing to the addict.
Yeah.
That's the Joker and the guide in me coming out.
Right.
Will you give it a rest, please? Will you let him speak for himself?
Will you give it a rest?
No, not him. You! Will you give it a
Yes.
rest and let the addict speak for himself?
Yes.
Okay, so put yourself away, please, and let's talk to the addict.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, so the soul trusts you, but the spiritual seeker still thinks he needs to keep you in line.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so we're just going to, are you willing to just speak for yourself here?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because what he said is, sometimes he's too addicted.
Yeah.
It's not good. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
He wants what he wants, and he is who he is.
Right.
Yeah, so celebrate yourself instead of letting someone else speak for you.
As the addict, I am very positive and a good influence on the soul. There are certain situations that come about where my get it done attitude that comes from our addict is very powerful, and it can help me in situations where I'm in a time crunch or I need to get something done right away.
Yeah.
Just really that.
Do you enjoy that?
Boom. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I do.
What a great way to take something and create it with your
Right.
soul. That's
Right.
fantastic.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Wow, what a great piece of work. So put the part back down and give me your reflections as a soul, as a whole.
Yeah, as the soul, I feel that this was very productive, and I appreciate the way I was able to hire different parts and repurpose different parts today. And I think I've learned a lot about parts that I didn't know before I came in today. I knew they were there, I just didn't take the time to dig into them.
Awesome. You did great work today.
Thanks.
Do you feel complete, or do you have more that you'd like to say and explore?
I'm complete.
Great, so let's just do some deep breaths of integration.
Yeah.
And just let that sink into your body. So I'm just going to give you a summary of what happened here. What happened was you came in and you started explaining the parts of you that were here. The spiritual seeker popped up, and the perfectionist and worrier started speaking for the spiritual seeker. And you did this tremendous work, taking your energy back as the seeker, speaking from the soul, claiming your purpose, allowing the addict to celebrate. We even got to see the 11-year-old laughing and making fun of all the parts, how ridiculous they are. So just let all that sink in. And when you're ready, we're back. So thank you everybody very much for watching this episode here with our lovely guest, Matt, who's a buddy of mine. Really glad that you made it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Watching how the self-soul-spirit model works, where you work with the subpersonalities. This is just a little taste of a large world of possibilities and training that goes behind this. So we really appreciate it that you're watching this. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much.
Thanks.